Welcome to Dave Talks Some More, the podcast at the intersection of humor and, Hey, I'm your host, Dave, and together we'll explore a riveting world of mundane topics with unparalleled indifference. So get ready for a riveting journey through, whatever.
Whatever.
This is Dave Talks Some More. Whatever, man. You mess it. Like 5 seconds in, we've already gaffed it up, man.
What happened?
The camera was on you first.
Far out, man. Far out, man. Thanks for joining us. It's we're off to a rough. We've been off for 2 weeks, and this is like it was 3 weeks ago today that we had our last show, so it's going to be a little ragged around the edges, kind of like a certain football team from Tuscaloosa that I know of.
I was ready to go. Unlike
I'm not blaming you. It wasn't the entire team.
Unlike Alabama or Texas, or there's some just really no shows yesterday.
Are you awash in the videos of all the isolation videos of Alabama players who were just jake-legging it through the game, not trying to hold a block, not trying to beat a block, not trying to pursue a runner, taking a bad angle so that they can avoid contact? I mean, it's a lot of these guys were soft as baby poo yesterday.
It is not the Alabama that we are used to for the last 20 years.
No.
For sure.
And I'm here for that. I mean, my recollection is that Saban arrived at Alabama in 2010 or 11. I think 2011, which, he didn't do really well that first year. But after that, I mean, that's over a decade. The kids that are going to that school now have never known what it's like to be worried about Florida States and Auburns and, all that thing. It's just like, yeah, we're going to win. We know we're going to win. And they've never been mid before.
I saw a comment on Twitter from a sports writer that I thought was really, really on point. And it said essentially something to this effect, that for a very long time, when Alabama players stepped off the bus, the other team was intimidated and truly believed that they were likely going to lose.
Right.
Now, when they step off the bus, they have hope that they're going to potentially win the game.
Oh, more than hope. I think, look, this is an Alabama team that lost to Vanderbilt last year. There is no swagger. There is no intimidation. Now, it's just another team.
So the craziest stat that I saw, which is really, it's a testament to who Saban was as a coach more than anything. But so Kalen DeBoer has now lost in one season and one game to 4 unranked teams.
Yeah.
The entire time that Saban coached at Alabama, he lost to 4 unranked teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. I mean, it really is. So yes, the people are out there unhappy for sure.
Well, more than unhappy, the memes going around. When you hire a head coach named after with a stripper name, what do you expect from Kalen DeBoer? Check. Stage 2, Kalen, report to stage 2.
Man, do you know how many? I wonder. This is what I was thinking about last night. How many people? Because Saban still has a ton of personal friends and contacts in the Alabama higher up, if you will, the higher ups, if you will. And that there were comments yesterday on some level about Saban being upset. Now, and it's probably will never, ever see the light of day because these people have a relationship with Saban and they trust him, and he doesn't certainly want to undermine his coach. But he could not look at that team and be happy.
I agree with that, but I don't think that he was upset. I think he left when he left because he saw the game was really changing, and he just didn't want to be around for that. I mean, he had gotten the W's, had gotten the legacy, and I think he saw my ship is sailing into some pretty rough seas, and I think I'm going to let the next guy handle the NIL era of college football. And good luck and God bless. But I imagine he looked at yesterday and said, well, A, they don't have a good coach, because there's no way a good coach would allow that kind of lackadaisical effort on the field.
Do you
And
think
second of all, just this is kind of what I expected to happen was there's going to be a lot more parity now that we're not the only people paying $18 million to our players.
Sure. Well, let's come back to that total in a little bit later on the show. So let's don't forget about that. But I was wondering yesterday if, the moment that Saban's good friend decided to coach for North Carolina, if he thought to himself, he would have been a much better fit following my footsteps at Alabama, because he has that pro mentality to which, to a large extent, I mean, the Big Ten and the SEC they're a mini NFL at this point.
I'm trying to think of the NFL head coach that has come back to college and succeeded.
Well, Pete Carroll. I mean, Pete Carroll was in the NFL, came to USC. I mean, lights out. Of course, they were paying the shit out of players. They got caught. But I mean, they were the Alabama for a few years out west, and then of course he went back to the NFL and was even more successful.
We're hugely successful at Seattle. I'll give you that. Are we in agreement that the dynasty is over? The castle has fallen. The barbarians are in the courtyard. That the whole Alabama mystique thing is DED.
Yeah, I honestly I think so. I mean, how else can you? I mean, it's just not there.
Be.
Well, I mean, really, I think the torch, if you will, was passed from Alabama to Georgia. And right now, you can say what you want about Texas. First of all, I think Texas was overhyped. But Georgia...
That's the next topic.
Georgia is, in my opinion, they're still the big dog. They're the top dog in the SEC, in my opinion, until they're knocked off.
Well, I mean, we all know who's going to do that too. But yeah, I had been saying for a decade that when it finally happens, when the gate falls down, when the barbarians hit the courtyard, every team in the SEC is going to go for two after every touchdown and then kick an onside kick and then throw a Hail Mary. I mean, just carpet bomb Alabama for 84 points. And it's going to take a couple of seasons of just absolutely obliterating them on the scoreboard to feel like, okay, we finally put these people in their place. And, I go back to the point I made before. These fans have been so spoiled and so pampered and enjoyed so much success. They haven't lived what the rest of us have lived of up and down seasons. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad. It's been a minute since David Shula was cratering that team back in, when was it, 2010 or 2009? I mean, it's been a minute for them.
Well, I mean, but don't you think, in this day and age with NIL, the portal, I mean, you can go out if you have the money, and you can, it's not just about getting the players. I mean, you got to have the coaches, you got to pay the coaching staff, you got to pay the recruiting staff. I mean, there's so much that's layered in there, but look, Florida State, we can say what we want about Florida State, but I mean, they hit the portal hard. They spent a lot of money. They doubled down. When Texas realized they could get in the portal, Texas A&M. But Texas A&M, to me, they are the epitome of what having money but nothing else will do for you, right? That doesn't equate to wins.
Yeah, they consistently spend all the money and get none of the results. It's
well, because they don't
amazing.
have all the other things that you
Right.
need to be successful. I mean, Ohio State, for example, now obviously they play in the Big Ten, but I mean, Ohio State they have coaches, they have all of this support and foundation to make a really good team. And so the fact that they're throwing the money out there, they're able to kind of stay there. I mean, I think Alabama has all of that, and they have the ability to do that. I just don't think it's going to be. We'll get to the 20 million because there's been rumors out there that Mississippi State has spent 20 to 25 million. Have you heard all this nonsense?
No.
Oh yes.
Oh, come on.
100%. State fans are out there saying that Levy spent $20 to $25 million.
From where?
Exactly.
What, did he get a HELOC?
I mean, these people are delusional. Okay. I mean,
25.
did you
the
see
idea that state's got $25 million to spend on, make it $250 million. I mean,
look,
if you're going to pick a number.
I mean, some guy gives $100 million to the university for educational purposes, and everyone, all the state people were going, "See, we have money. We have money." Well, that's not for your football team, bro.
Right.
I mean, so
$25 million in states NIL.
No, it did not happen. It's totally
I
ridiculous.
wish it had.
No, it did not happen.
They're going to need it next week. I can tell you that.
Who do they play next week?
They are hosting number 11 Arizona State. This is a state, and look, I know I've goofed on state a lot, but they were tied at halftime against Southern Miss.
No, to be fair, it was 13-10.
Was 13-10? Okay, well, it's same thing. I mean,
Talent won out. They were definitely.
I think their coach is good, and I think they're. I do. And I think that they're going to have. I mean, my God, they were 2-10 last year. I think they're going to do better. I really hope that they're going to build something. But Arizona State, you've got to think is going to come in to Vegas Saturday and just obliterate them.
Where are they playing?
State, playing at State.
Huh, interesting.
So, yeah, I truly wish them all the best.
I didn't realize. I mean, I guess you're right. I knew Arizona State had a decent little team. Are they still considered Pac-12?
I don't know who is affiliated with who anymore. I mean, I'm still getting used to the idea that
we
Oklahoma
need a crack
is
show
in the
producer
SEC.
that could tell us that, like, right off of the bat.
Yeah.
Arizona State is in what conference?
In what conference?
Oh, SPCL.
I think they're in the British Premier League or
SPCL that's what they're in.
Yeah, they're in the WNBA. I'm not really sure where they are. They're coming out of somewhere.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, speaking of tough Saturdays, Arch Manning.
Yes.
Ow.
Well,
that was
I didn't
hard.
see. I was unable to see the game because I
didn't see it either.
I was driving to Oxford, but I was getting updates from people and text messages, and so and I watched a little bit of some of the replays last night. At some point, but I don't know. He's not a bad quarterback in any sense of the imagination, in my opinion. I just think that he was overhyped, and he's still playing in his – I don't care who you are. You're playing in your first game. You're going to make some mistakes. He probably had nerves, whatever. You're playing the defending national championship.
I mean, that was kind of the point I took was, wait a minute. The guy's playing against certainly a top 5 team, maybe the number 1 team. I don't know, but certainly a top 5 team at their house, and you're here on your first start. I mean, you really don't know if he's good or bad based on that game. He missed a whole lot of passes and made a lot of. I mean, he didn't look good, but you got to cut the guy some slack after that test. I mean, give me a. You don't know. So it's a little early
Well,
for
look,
that.
I can tell you this. I mean, if Austin Simmons for Ole Miss had that defense versus the defense he had last night, he'd have had more interceptions.
Oh, well,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm sitting there last night watching the LSU Clemson game and talk about spending $18 million on defense. And I mean, Brian Kelly hit the transfer portal, and we would have won the national championship the last 2 years. I'm convinced. Well, okay, so
that's a tall order.
Okay, well, 2 years ago, you've got Jaden Daniels who wins the Heisman, and the offense could put up any number that you wanted. Problem was the defense could give up any number that you wanted.
Yeah.
But if you'd had the defense that I saw last night and the offense that I saw with Jaden Daniels 2 years ago, national championship all the way. All the way. Because they scored on everybody. Last year, maybe more debatable. Nussmeier was good. And I've already called the shot before the season started.
I know you've already said that y'all are winning it all.
Yeah, and
we'll see.
And nothing about what I saw last night changed my opinion. I mean, I'm totally sold out.
I will say this. I asked Bonnie, I said, when I saw that the score was 10-3, I said, how upset is David right now? And she was like, I guarantee it's just a stream of cuss words.
No,
He's so
just
mad.
exactly the opposite. I was texting my friends. I'm like, I have absolutely no worries about this, because the only reason that they had Clemson absolutely in a box, and Clemson did nothing. And the only reason that they got a touchdown was because a LSU player fumbled on the wrong side of the field. But Clemson did nothing. And I figured once LSU eliminates their mistakes, they're going to blow the doors off. I don't know if you saw any of the game. The final score was 17-10. Really, it was 24-10 because I had a guy catch a touchdown pass. He catches the ball. He takes 2 steps. He goes through the corner of the end zone. He hits the pylon. He falls, holding onto the ball the entire time. When he hits the ground, the ball pops out, and they say, "Oh, well, you didn't hold on to the ball through the catch or whatever." So that's not a catch.
That is the rule.
It's just if that's the rule, and the whole, you have to hold the ball until the second TV commercial after the extra point. Otherwise, it's not a catch. I mean, that was a dumb rule.
Ole Miss is
5 years ago when they put it into effect.
I mean, that rule, Ole Miss has been the victim of that rule.
Sure, everybody is, because it's a stupid rule. But anyway, my point being, was I cussing at the TV and upset? No, I was.
Let me go back to that rule. You know that rule is stupid, and I'll tell you why.
There's so many that are, but
I know, but that rule in particular. Okay, so if you are. And Ole Miss scored a touchdown last night, which honestly I didn't think that we deserved to score, but they reviewed it and they believed that the nose hair of the football broke the plane, right?
One big hair that was still left
right.
on the ball.
Okay,
yeah.
And so if that's all it takes for a touchdown to be good, and you tap 1 foot in, and you have possession when you tap, why is that not good?
It is good.
No, it's not. Not if you fall down.
What are you saying?
If you catch the ball,
okay,
all right, and you're tapping 1 toe or 2 toes in the corner of the end zone,
right,
and when your toes hit inside the touchdown area,
right.
Okay, no
the
white
end zone,
is showing.
calls it.
Yes, but I'm just saying, no white paint anywhere, right?
You're in.
Well, you're in, but if you take another step and you then, hit the ground and the ball pops out, that's not a touchdown.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what happened last night.
Well, I understand that. What I'm saying to you is that's a stupid rule, because you have another rule that says if the ball even remotely breaks, any portion of the ball breaks the plane, it's instantaneously a touchdown.
And so the play is over.
The play is over, right? So you could go through the end zone, but if you land and the ball pops out, well, it's already a touchdown because the ball crossed the plane.
Right.
Well, but if you tap in, that should be a touchdown.
I think that I agree. I think the rule came in the Tennessee Florida game. Gosh, it's probably been 7 years ago, where a Tennessee receiver is basically standing on the goal line. He catches the ball, and then the ball comes right out again. But he had it, but he didn't have it. He kind of had it.
Is that what led to the rule?
I think that's what led to the rule. Is we've got to define what does it mean to catch the ball. And
I mean,
then
I think it's an extension of the normal rule when you're in the play, which is you have to control the ball through,
through the catch.
Through the
calls
catch,
it. Yeah.
right? I mean, so if the ground pops it out, then that's not a catch,
Right.
So,
Well,
I mean, but to me, that's really a different application of it, because if you're extended out diving for the ball,
right,
okay, and the first thing that hits
is the ball.
is your hands, the ball, you're laying flat, and the ball pops out. To me, that's not a catch.
I agree.
Right. But if you catch the ball and you land on the 50-yard line and you have a foot down, to me,
that's it.
That's a catch.
That's it. Well, it's I can argue it both ways, but I will tell you when you know that you're right, when an ESPN announcer disagrees with the officials, because they never disagree with the officials, and they were saying that's just wrong. The officials got it wrong. So anyway, no, I was not cussing the TV. I was like, we got this. I'm not worried a bit about it, and turned out to not have any reason to. The game tonight, Miami and Notre Dame.
Were we talking that pre-show? Was that pre-show? I
a little
think that was
bit,
pre-show,
yeah, a little bit pre-show. You know how it's funny that there are teams outside of the SEC that you like or you don't like, and there's really no good reason to like or dislike them. You just kind of have that feeling about these teams out there. Like I've always liked Iowa State for some reason. No rational reason why. I've just always thought
that's like liking Tulane.
Well, yeah, which I've never liked Tulane because the Louisiana.
Go away.
Yeah. But I really liked the Miami from the Jimmy Johnson era back in the 80s.
That's the only Miami period that I've ever liked.
Yeah,
just because I love Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
and kind of his brand of football.
And I am old enough to remember when Notre Dame really was getting they got to be in the top 5 because they're Notre Dame, even if they're going 6-5 this season.
They still get that.
Yeah. Well,
they don't
changed. Get it as much as they used to, but they get it a lot. You're right. They get it a lot. I don't know what Notre Dame's ranked. Got to be in the top 3 because they're Notre Dame.
Well, but Miami, crazily enough, Miami gets that same treatment.
They do, and it's just been so much failure. I mean, that Jimmy Johnson era was 40 years ago.
Miami has not won a championship since Larry Coker. Is that right?
Did they win a championship with Larry Coker? I don't remember them doing that.
They did. So, and then Coker left a couple years after that, but that was 20-something years ago, right?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Right, and they have been, for the most part, they've been garbage for the better half of 20 years.
I mean, just terrible.
Right, and so the moment that they get a good team, it's absolutely they're top 10 team no matter what, which has just always shocked me. And of course, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I mean, there's some teams that have just totally bodied Miami for the last few years, but yet Miami gets a quarterback.
Top 10.
Yeah, I mean, national championship. Here we go. And so
it's Notre Dame is number 6, Miami's number 10, going into the game. So anyway, we're not selling ourselves on pulling for either team.
I'm pulling for neither team. Well, I don't want either team to win. And I think I pull against both teams because I cannot stand the bias that they get from the sports writers.
Okay, then you're against Notre Dame tonight because they get more bias than.
Well, they do,
than
and of course Notre Dame doesn't play anybody. And so this will be the toughest game that they play all year. And
well, then that seals the deal.
so they could lose tonight. They'll maybe
and they'll claw their way back into the playoff.
Because they're losing to a number 10 team, which is overranked, and then Miami's going to lose 2 or 3 games. But Notre Dame, they'll drop from
they'll be 11-1.
They'll be 11-1 at the end of the season, and they will have dropped to maybe 10th, 11th after tonight's loss if they lose.
And then they'll have 11 weeks to work their way back to the
100% because they don't play anybody. And then at the end of the year, it's going to be, oh, well, Notre Dame is the best team in the country. I mean, look at this. I mean, they lost to number 6 Miami or whatever. I mean, come on, man.
This is the first round be Notre Dame and Alabama.
Who was it that beat Notre Dame so handedly a few years ago? Was it Alabama or LSU right out of the gate?
It wasn't LSU.
Brian Kelly was the coach.
Yeah, it wasn't LSU. I don't know. That's good times when it happens, though.
Yes.
All right. Well, we pretty much plowed that field. I've been saying let's see, since I was 17 years old, Sean, are you going to go see F1 or not? Because we said that we were going to. He said
we're done with college football. We got to get back to the real thing, the issue.
We're not quite getting back to the real world, but
so I watched 2 movies this week.
Whoa!
In the movie theater.
Okay.
In our
in your
my
movie
home theater.
Yes.
So I watched, and Sarah started watching it with me. F1.
Okay.
And we, I had the sound in there. I mean, cranked.
Jacked up.
Oh yes. And at one point, Sarah's like, and Sarah doesn't hear great, but Sarah's like, it's really loud in here. And I was like,
what'd you say?
So we have movie seats, and then we have down on the floor, like right in the center, we have these like humongous like bean bags. Okay. And so sometimes I like to sit in the bean bag, and it's just like you're looking.
Immersive experience.
Oh, big time.
Just
and
total.
So,
can't even see the whole screen.
So on each side of the, the movie screen, I have these stacks inside these, these stacks of speakers that are hidden in the wall.
Sure.
And I'm telling you, the sound was vibrating in my bean bag.
Right.
And I was just like, she goes, it's really loud. And I was like, it's effing awesome. What you talking about? So anyway, I know you loved all the action scenes, the driving, all of that.
Was I wrong?
No, it was excellent. I disagree with you a little bit on the plot. I actually like the storyline.
What was the storyline?
The storyline was really about Brad Pitt struggling in his character.
See, that's what I thought the plot should have been.
And it was.
No, the plot was.
It was about his redemption.
No.
How could you say it wasn't?
You want me to answer that question?
Yes, I want to. Okay. I want to know.
First of all, what the plot was this thin, uninteresting, quote unquote, conflict
of the team losing the team
between him and the hotshot young driver. And part of the plot was the hotshot young driver is going to realize maybe the old veteran knows some things, and if I would shut up and get out of his way, he will help me win. Okay, that was part of the plot. Let me answer your other question. Is what I thought the plot could have been. Remember that the movie starts off. It starts off with a race, of course. It starts off with a race, of course. But when he meets Javier Bardem, he's in, I want to say, a laundromat. And then they go to a Mexican restaurant. And first of all, they do the thing that they do in all the stupid movies, like the Drift movies or the Drive movies or the bank heist movies. They always go to the old veteran and they say, we got a casino. We figured out we're going to rob it. No, I'm retired. No, we need you to help. You're the only one who can do it. No, I'm retired. no, we've got the team together. We've got it all figured out, and we're going to get even with the bad guy. No, I'm telling you, I'm retired. And they go through this 5-minute, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. And they say, okay, I'll do it.
Okay, but
They do that all the
all
time.
right, so I look, I understand that, but here's the thing: the movie is what it is, which is a summer blockbuster. Okay, the other movie that I watched this week was Mission Impossible. The last of Tom Cruise's movies for the whole series.
The last for now, right?
35 years, whatever. And I said to Sarah, I said, you can agree 100%, because I do agree and believe that he is a total nut job with this whole, Scientology. Okay. I mean, this whole believing in aliens and it's total.
Well, you hadn't had your thetans read. That's
I
part of your
understand.
problem,
Look,
Sean.
I mean, Scientology. I mean, he's like the highest of all the levels.
Of
I mean,
course he is.
I mean, he's
When-
ready
look,
to be.
When you're a billionaire, you'll be a top Scientologist. too.
Exactly. So you can say what you want about him being crazy, but you cannot say that he is not an entertainer. I mean, he is 100%.
I love a Tom Cruise movie.
He can make a movie.
Yeah.
He knows how to make a movie. I mean, like, he does all of his own stunts. I mean, I watched a 5-minute, after I watched the movie, I watched a 5-minute little special on how they filmed and did the biplane scenes. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but
No.
there's a biplane, action sequence where he's on the wing. He's climbing up to get into the biplane. I mean, there's a fight in midair.
Based on actual events.
But, I mean, he's actually... He's doing the stunt.
Oh, he's
and of
got
course,
a borderline death wish.
Well,
There's
so
no doubt
at
about
one
it.
point, there's a scene that they're filming up in the Arctic Circle. They actually filmed it in Upper Norway, but it is. I watched another little special on it. And they were filming in like 20 below zero. Okay, and I mean true snow. And one of the actresses was like, "Well, that's the one thing that's great about a Tom Cruise movie is that he's going to go to any length to bring the realism with no CGI, that this really is how we film this movie." And I was talking to Sarah about it, and I was like, that's what Tom Cruise does, is he makes the movie an experience, right? He did the same thing with the most recent, Top Gun 2. Well, I think the Brad Pitt movie, I mean, yes, it's going to have some of those campy little things, right? Just like everyone knew at the end of Mission Impossible that Tom Cruise was going to save the day. I mean, that was never in doubt,
of course.
right? But the whole entire time that you're watching the movie, you have these scenes where you just get sucked in and you're like, oh, is it going to happen? Oh, is it going to happen? You get the last second clip of the, to defuse the nuclear bomb, and
Which color wire do I cut?
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there was that. I mean,
Well, come on. They didn't have
hold on,
cutting a wire.
not one,
Oh,
but
God.
two
Come on.
nuclear bombs were cut. Okay, in this
Sure.
movie, right?
Why?
And both of them were saved. And so, but even
If he
despite,
would have given back some of the money, they could have hired a screenwriter with an original idea. I mean, other than fighting on biplanes and which color wire do I cut?
but here's
Come
the
on.
thing: is that you're still, you're superbly entertained, which is what you pay when you go to a summer blockbuster like that. You're not going there to have some original drama that's going to be up for Best Picture of the Year, right? I mean, you're just not. And so you can't expect that of F1. You certainly can't expect out of.
Okay, that's where I fault the vision here, because you could have the exciting. I thought the point of the racing movie
of F1,
was
yeah.
let's give you a vehicle that. I don't mean vehicle. Let's give you an opportunity to see all these super cool race scenes that I thought were great. But it can't just be 120 minutes of that. We got to have some kind of plot to wrap around it, some kind of character development to wrap around it. when the movie starts and he meets with Javier Bardem and and it's apparent that this guy used to be this great driver, but something hit the fan and the wife always leaves him and he's bankrupt. And I thought, wouldn't it have been a more interesting movie outside of the race scenes where you go through the story of how he had been a top driver and then he had something bad happen and then he hits the bottom and then he's crawling out of that. And it was just like, tell it as a series of flashbacks in between the races.
Well, they did do that.
Oh no, they did. They had one pitiful little scene that was thrown in at the end where Javier Bardem, you're going to love this, where Javier Bardem says, "Oh my God, I'm looking at your medical records. Look at you've got all these back surgery. Your back is held together with paper clips and chewing gum." And how did the movie end? He's racing around in the Baja Desert on a dune buggy that would just destroy Arnold Schwarzenegger's back.
Well, look,
but he's fine. He's fine on that. He's got a big grin on his face.
I thought that scene was unnecessary. I didn't think
completely unnecessary.
Well, and because he says, "Oh, you're fired," right? I mean, you got one race to go. I mean, it's your best buddy. You're firing him.
Because he's injured, like you didn't know.
I'm going to save his life. I mean, it was stupid. And then he shows up, and because he's created such a bond with the team, they're all like, "Oh, he's racing for us." I thought that whole little it was so unnecessary.
It was so lame.
That was unnecessary. So I agree. I agree with you that on a scale of 8 of 10, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I mean,
I give the racing scenes a 10. I give the rest of it a 2. So make of that what you will.
Yeah.
I like the racing scenes so much, I'd go back and see it again, but only at a theater with the sound jacked up to the top and
it's
the
great.
little shaker boxes that they put under your seat. That's fantastic.
Oh, it was. So yes. As a matter of fact, I bought. My wife's not listening, but I don't think I bought the movie. I didn't just rent it.
What?
I bought it.
Wow.
Well, because it's like, all right, so I'm watching it on our movie theater, right? I mean, why would I rent it?
Watch this anytime I want to.
I mean, you can rent it for 20 or you can buy it for 25. If
Might
I
as
had
well.
gone to the movie theater when I had wanted to go see it, but it
You
didn't
would
have
have
the
paid
right time,
$25.
I'd have paid $25 because I'd have had, jujube, I mean, whatever. I mean,
do you have the corny little popcorn stand that people buy when they have movie theaters? You know what I'm talking about, with the big wagon wheel?
hold on, I've looked at them and I just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
It's a matter of time.
Well, I did go and buy a big box of popcorn, so we do have a bunch of popcorn that you can pop, and so I haven't bought the homemade popcorn yet. So
that's well, you're still trying to figure out the financing, so I'm sure you'll get there.
Yes.
Getting back to the real world, we had some show, I suppose it would have been at the end of April, that was about the end of the first 100 days of the administration. And now we're
200.
about 15 days past the second 100 days. And it occurred to me, what a difference. The first 100 days, it seems like it was crackling with electricity, big decisions being made. And I kind of get the impression that everybody in the administration's lost the thread a little bit. Am I the only one?
I don't know. I mean, I was having a conversation with an attorney friend of mine, lives on the coast, the other day, and he's a big Republican. Not so much a Republican. He's a conservative, in mindset, but he's one of these old school conservatives that truly believes that less is less government, that kind of course, nowadays, you have old school Democrats, you have old school Republicans, and those are no longer the mainstream of either the Democratic or the Republican Party. I mean, you have
There's a few of us hanging around.
We're right, but by and large, you have these extremes that are pulling each side to a certain extent. But anyway, he said, the crazy thing that if you look at the totality of the administration, the crazy thing that's really happened in the last 200 days, and you've seen a lot of it in the last, I don't know, I have at least, in the last month. I think it's happened since our last show, but Bill Maher came out and talked about all of the things that Trump has been right about, okay? And he went through a litany of the things. I mean, here's an old school Democrat saying, you know what, Dems, you got it wrong.
Yeah.
He had it right. And he started going through stuff on the tariffs, started going through, NATO, started going through immigration, started going through, not letting biological men play sports with women. And then you had James Carville the other day James Carville, I know he's
as blue as it gets.
As blue as it gets. And he was saying the other day, Democrats, he is right on some of these things, and you are missing the boat with these stupid, ridiculous arguments that you're making. And then, of course, and this crime has been the biggest one lately. And I mean, I even saw an op-ed on CNN's webpage that was like, the Democrats have no position on crime. They have no response to this because the truth of the matter is that even the D.C. mayor said this past week, I don't know, it was buried out there. You had to find it because it wasn't on mainstream media. But she had a press conference and she said the crime has had a dramatic reduction as a result of everything that he's doing.
Sure.
And essentially she said, thank you for helping us.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did miss that.
So, and they buried it. And now, of course, I saw this nonsense of this Chicago mayor. Oh, I'm going to make it illegal for any officers in my state to help the federal
to put y'all
government.
Back in cages.
It's like,
what he said.
I mean, are you serious? I mean, because I have seen video interviews with random just black individuals in Washington, D.C. walking down the street.
They're thrilled.
They are thrilled. I mean, I saw this one guy, he was walking down the street and he had a nice bling watch on. He was like, there is no way that I would have done this 2 weeks ago. And I can do it today. Yeah. And, they had some guy, I mean, he was totally looked like a historical Democratic voter. He had his, he was definitely not voting for Trump, but he was like, I love it because finally, for the first time, somebody is doing something to address the crime. And that was one of the things that I think Carver was talking about is like, come on, guys, what are y'all doing? I mean, it's crazy that the Democrats would take the position that they're taking, which is we don't want to combat crime. We're doing good enough.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it is more. We don't have a problem with crime. Crime's okay. In fact, they're kind of heroic, such as with the shoplifting in California, where if you shoplift $950 in value or less, it's treated like a speeding ticket. It's a non-arrestable offense to shoplift $950 or
crazy.
less. It is crazy, and I have to think that if you're a D.C. resident, that you're thinking, wait a minute, it could have been like this the last 20 years. It could have been safe. It could have been clean. It could have been family friendly. We could have had this anytime that we wanted, but the people who are in charge, they just didn't want it. And why is that?
Well, so for this happened long before George Floyd, okay? There have been major cities, major crime issues, and the argument has always been we don't have enough money to hire enough police officers to combat the crime. That's been the party line, not just really for Democrats, but it's also been for Republicans, which is, For example, you look at Jackson. I mean, because most of our listeners know Jackson. I mean, long before 2020, the George Floyd movement, there was just not enough money to have police officers, and it wasn't just on the city level; it was on the state level too. I mean, Highway Patrol was always looking for more officers. Well, so what Trump has done is essentially said, you've got to make it a priority, and it's putting bodies on the street, and that is going to create a crime reduction. And you know what? It has. It's not like they're none of these National Guardsmen are out there making arrests. They're just showing a presence. Yeah. And crime has been reduced. Kenny Stokes, for example, he keeps talking about you got to have policemen sitting out here, in our parking lot of these, convenience stores. Oh, we don't have enough money for that. Okay.
Find it.
You've got to find it. You have to make it a priority. Trump has made it a priority, and you can hate Trump all you want. But if you are unwilling to acknowledge that he's made crime a priority and it's working, then you're just cutting your nose off to spite your face, which is ridiculous.
Well, I heard that they were using bobcats to empty out the homeless encampments, and then it turned out that they were using bobcat skid steer loaders, that turned out to be kind of a disappointment for me when I was like, this could have been really cool. But yeah, I guess the National Guardsmen that was okay too.
Well, what's crazy? So let's talk about the homeless for a second. Homelessness is a major problem in the country, and yes, something needs to be done. But it's just like the most liberal city in the country is what? Well, there's a couple of them. Well, we're going to say San Francisco.
Our Portland.
Portland's up there.
Seattle, gets
they're
an
up there.
Honorable mention.
But we're gonna go with San Francisco. And when the Chinese government decided to come to San Francisco, you know what they went and did? They went and cleared it all out.
Sure.
Right.
They can do it anytime they want to.
You can do it anytime you want to, and it's okay if we're doing it to bring in. And of course, the irony of all of that for me is they want to act like Trump sucks up to these people like China and Russia and all this. They roll out the red carpet out there in this liberal, stronghold and say, oh, we'll get rid of the homeless people for a day. Look, down there in San Diego, before he died, you had Big Red. You know what I'm talking about? Basketball player?
No.
Oh, come on. What's his name? The big deadhead that played for Portland.
Oh, yeah. Bill Walton.
Bill Walton. So Big Red. So Bill was out there 100% supporting the removal of all of these homeless encampments, saying you've got rampant drugs, you got rampant crime, and what are you doing? You're destroying property values. You're making it unsafe for anyone to use public spaces because you're not willing to do something about it. And, you look at D.C. and Trump says, you know what? That's ridiculous. We're going to do something about it. Just like the Democrats did out there in San Francisco. But when Trump does it, it's wrong. When San Francisco does it, it's okay. That's the kind of crap that you see people like Bill Maher, James Carville, and others saying, this isn't adding up. You're on the losing side of this argument. And, at some point, in my opinion, if you want to make this country better and safer, you have to come together, the Republicans, the Democrats, and they have to say this works. Why they can't do that, I have no clue.
Well, that's at the intersection of a lot of ideas. California, let's come together. Rules for me, but not rules for you, but not for me. And it's all that we can wrap that up in one big word, gerrymandering, that's not going to bring the country together. That just pushes it further apart. And in the 3 weeks that we've been out, that turned into a real hot button issue, starting with Texas decided, why wait 10 years for the census to do some gerrymandering?
We're going to do it in the middle
we can
of
go
5.
ahead and do it now. And then your hero, Gavin Newsom, comes out and says, well, if you're going to gerrymander, we're going to gerrymander. To which J.D. Vance said, oh, just now you're going to gerrymander? Like you haven't been doing that for the last 40 years? You kidding me?
Well, look, I was shocked that mainstream media on the Sunday talk shows a few weeks back, they hammered people up in Chicago going.
Yeah.
They're like, you've been doing it longer than anyone.
Yeah. Pritzker acting like
and the numbers in
Pritzker
Illinois
acting like he's going to be a hero.
The numbers of gerrymandering in Illinois is astounding.
Yeah.
Far worse than anything they're doing down in Texas. Now, I will say this, and there's a legitimate complaint that I have against Trump, and it goes to your point, which is, well, why are you doing something that's making the division worse, right? I mean, like, why are we going after Obama from something from 8 years ago? Why? What's the purpose of that? I mean, stop all this nonsense. Let's move on from that. I mean, it is totally a waste of time, in my opinion. I mean, are we really going to prosecute the former president of the United States? No, not in my.
I'm not sure that they're not going to prosecute.
You think
him.
that they would? I think that would be
not,
one of the worst political moves that you could ever do.
I'm not expressing an opinion as to whether it's a good idea, but are they willing to do it? I think they are. I think they have the willingness to do it.
Do I think that there's sufficient? I mean, it seems like there is sufficient grounds. I mean, there's something there. I mean, clearly. I mean, I hadn't read everything, but
well,
I just think
here's an in-between idea. How about publish everything there is to say about it, because it would come out in a trial anyway, right?
Sure.
And let America see that, and then if there's some feeling that it's truly felonious, kind of like with this Cook character who, fills out these fraudulent mortgage applications. Is that? I mean, we all know that it's a felony. Also, it's a felony that nobody cares about unless you have a political axe to grind.
But the
against
problem
her.
about releasing all that is that the mainstream media is never going to cover that, and they haven't covered it yet.
Yeah, but we're not covered by the mainstream media has no monopoly whatsoever.
Not anymore.
So
100%.
Fine, go ahead and ignore it. But everybody who wants to care will know.
But
so fine, let it out.
Back to what I was saying when we started this political conversation is my friend, he was talking about it. He said, the crazy thing is that one of the things that Donald Trump has done this presidency, and certainly if you go back to the election and leading up to the election, he has taken what has been Democratic strongholds, in voters, and he has made the Republican Party blue collar. I mean, he has taken that vote, which Democrats they have held on to forever as their stronghold is going to keep them in power. And to your point, I mean, the better solution or course of action for Trump would be, just put it out there. And
then decide
and let people see what it is, and you can say, fine, and then but move on. I mean, I think at some point one of the parties has to make the decision to stop all this lawfare. I've got a real problem with that. I mean, I had a problem with it when they were doing it to Trump. And I don't want Trump doing it to anyone else. I mean, I want it to stop. And some party has to make the decision to stop.
Well, speaking of things that I have a real problem with the administration doing, I watched, or I didn't watch it, I followed the bizarre Alaska summit negotiation. I don't even know what that was. It only lasted for about 3.5 minutes, it felt like.
Yeah, 3 hours.
I mean, it was nothing.
It was supposed to be an all-day deal.
Oh, I mean, it and you're kind of missing somebody if you're going to have a summit. I don't know what the guy's trying to do. If he's trying to stop a war, he has a very peculiar way of going about it.
Here's my take on it. And I listened to some comments that Marco Rubio had on some of the shows, and I actually think Rubio's a smart guy. I don't agree with him on a lot of his issues or some of his issues, but I do. I thought he made some excellent points. Who's that? Margaret Brennan. He just totally abused her. That woman is, I mean, she is the most biased news person that there is out there. There's nobody worse than her, except maybe Dan Rather. I mean, she's just terrible. But he completely obliterated her. But he was saying in defense of what Trump was doing, which is, this is not going to be a easy, quick process. I mean, you have to start laying the groundwork. And so I look at Putin. I think Putin is like drawing a line in the sand and said, "No, we're not getting out of this war until we get this land." And then you've got Zelensky over here going, "No, we're not getting out of this war unless we get our land back." So at some point, you've got to have a compromise. And I think right now, Trump
I don't think you can compromise those the two issues that you're talking about in eastern Ukraine, which is, I mean, there's just
I agree with you.
It's like trying to compromise a custody case.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Either I get the kid or you get the kid. We can't cut them in half.
Right. There's no Solomon's baby. But I mean, I think Trump and his administration, I think that they're struggling with that. And I think the hope is that there's going to be this groundswell of support. I mean, to me, the more important meeting was the one that occurred after that.
With the Euros.
Yes. Because for the first time, I think, really honestly, since this war began under Biden's watch, you had the United States and Europe all on the same page. And that's pretty remarkable. So, I mean, you can criticize Trump or his administration, and there's criticism to be had out there, sure enough. But I think he is moving in a very slow pace, and he's trying to get some sort of consensus on a few issues. I think Trump really believes that the only way out of this war is there's going to have to be a concession on land. Is it all of the land? No. I think maybe there's a portion of Crimea that I think that Trump
Crimea they had under Obama, they can have that, but that's not going into the larger landmass of Ukraine. And I don't know.
But I mean, I know Ukraine wants that back.
Well,
I don't think they're going to get it back.
That would be the dream. I don't think that that's going to come back, but it's a lot like, as I understand it, the part of Ukraine that's in question, the part that even now Putin's not been able to take, it's a highly defensible area. It's like when, and I hate to go back to Hitler in World War II, but when he was really rattling the saber about Czechoslovakia, he didn't say, "I want Czechoslovakia." He said, "I don't want Czechs, but I just want the Sudetenland, the part of Czechoslovakia that has German-speaking people." Well, if you looked on a geographical map of Czechoslovakia, the part that he wanted, which was the part that bordered on Germany, was where all the mountains were and where all the fortresses were and where all the big guns were. That was the part that the German army was never going to be able to bust through, because you can't carry tanks through the mountains. You can't do it. You can't blast your way through the mountains. He never could have gotten into Czechoslovakia. And so what he said was, "I just want that part of it." And then once that was conceded to him and he could start his army on the east side of the mountains, then it was just plains, which is wonderful for tanks.
Yeah.
And, and it's kind of the same consideration. What Putin is saying is, I want you to give to me the part that I can't conquer, the part that geographically is very defensible. Get me past that, and then we cut a deal, but you'll be at my mercy at that point because I'm past the hard part and the rest of it's easy. I can understand Zelensky saying, "Hell no, you can't. If I give you that, I'm cutting my throat. I mean, I'm completely at your mercy, and I have no faith whatsoever in the Europeans or the Americans backing me up, because they're the ones who told us, when was it? In Reagan's time, oh, if you give up your nuclear weapons, don't worry, we're going to back you up. And that was a huge broken. I don't trust you, and I'm not gonna. We're gonna fight, and if we run out of bullets and missiles, so be it.
Well, when Trump came out and said he was willing to offer security guarantees, to me, I know he walked that back
That
a
means
little bit.
nothing. That means nothing.
Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, the fact that he offered it to me was a huge step, because he's saying
it was.
He's saying, I'm willing to do what we need to do to try and stop this war. And to me, that was real leverage that put Russia at risk, because they don't want that. And of course, Putin came right out immediately and said, if you do that,
you do that, we're going all the way. We're going the length.
The deal is off.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, that was more saber rattling, because really, I think Russia would be okay with that if they could get certain land guarantees. I think this really all
Russia
comes
doesn't need land guarantees. There is no credible threat of an invasion of Russia. That's a joke to say that they need land guarantees.
Understand this. It's about saving face.
Sure.
You've got to go back to you've had your propaganda that you've been offering to the entire Russian, state.
His problem is we've gone through all this hell, lost all these people for what?
For what?
For 10 miles?
Yeah. So he wants to save face, and to me, it's twofold. It's saving face for the Russian people, but it's also, I think, saving face for Russia to remain a superpower. I mean,
yeah, just to have some international credibility.
100%.
Not have their nose rubbed
And so
in it.
I think Trump knows that. And I think Trump is saying, look, Zelensky, you've got to. So I think it was necessary. I think it was necessary for Trump and the administration to meet with Russia separately from Zelensky to try and see if there was something that they could find that might be a movable target that they could negotiate on. And whether that happened, I don't know. And so, it's kind of like, it's almost, look, we do mediations as attorneys, right? I mean, you don't just go bring all the parties and say, let's hash it out. You're having caucuses. You're meeting with each other individually, because if you were just
otherwise
to bring,
it just blows up.
it blows
Everybody
up.
gets mad.
So
and runs
I
out
look at this and I say, to me, this is negotiation 101. And the news media, I'm like, y'all don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I mean, because you got to do something to be able to have a conversation. Trump's just rolling the red carpet out for them. I mean, come on, good God. I mean, they're still a superpower. I mean, I did like, however, the fact that he had our bomber fly over.
That was hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious.
Great. That was great.
And of course, any Democrat who hates Trump, fine, you can hate him all you want.
You know how much money they spend on fuel for
But if you're sitting there with your Democratic friends, you have to go, that was fucking beast. I mean, that was pretty badass.
That was cool. I'm glad that we've run out of time so that we don't have to talk about transgender shooters in schools.
Lord. And prayer.
Can we have a pact that we're just not even going to go there, no matter how bad it gets?
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Go Miami. Is that what we landed on?
Remember, it's the Catholics versus the convicts.
Oh,
that was from
yeah.
that harkens back to
from a long time ago.
1986.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we got better things to do than listen to a podcast. I can tell you that. So, Danny.
How about? Well, hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
What you got? Big plans tomorrow for Labor Day?
I'm going to be working. I'm going to be laboring on Labor Day.
Okay.
That's my big plan.
I was born on Labor Day.
Happy birthday.
Were you
Well,
really?
September 2nd is my birthday, but I was actually born on Monday on Labor Day.
Your mother was in labor on Labor Day.
Yes. And
Feels
so,
appropriate.
Yeah, Labor Day has, anyway, it's,
Workers of
I
the
always get a nice long 3-day weekend
yeah,
for my
your
birthday. Of course,
my birthay's next week, but
well, happy birthday.
Yeah, well,
Virgos.
See, there you go.
So Sarah asked me yesterday, she's like, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, really nothing. There's only one thing that I want. I'm not going to say what it is. There's only one thing that I want, and we're not getting it anytime soon. So
Is it a popcorn cart with wagon wheels on it?
it's not. And I have said we're not going to get it until certain things happen. And Sarah has agreed with me on that. And so I'm like, really, there's nothing that I need. So, you know, I'm getting cake from the office, so we don't need to have a cake. Don't waste money on that. You know,
This is very old man of you.
it's very old man of me. I mean, part of it is my daughter, Sydney, her birthday is on September 5th. And so for the last,
Oh my God, okay.
for the last 20 years, her birthday has eclipsed mine. And so mine has taken a back seat to my child's birthday. So I've kind of gotten used to just birthdays used to be a really big thing for me, and now it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Anyway, happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday. Danny,
On that.
get me out of here.